Hello everyone, so this is your assignment 3 for Algo Lab. So where we are, we will be using the graphs. So this is an assignment based on graph algorithms. So now let me try to explain the assignment and please listen to the specifications before you actually start doing the code. So now what is the problem statement? So you are given that James is a frog who is sitting on a rock. So now, okay, so that means, okay, how are the rocks arranged? So these rocks are arranged in a grid of size a cross b and coordinates from 0, 0 to a minus 1, b minus 1. So there are, you will say a cross b number of rocks and James is sitting at some jx, jy. So at some of one of the rock. And James can jump on adjacent rocks which are to the north, east, west or south and possible 4 directions of its current rock. So now if I want to visualize this, what is happening? So you are having a grid of rocks of size A cross B. Okay, and if you actually construct the grid, so you can think of it each cell in the grid to be a rock. And the coordinates are given. So for example, this is 0, 0, yes, and this will be a minus 1, 0. This will be a minus 1, b minus 1, and this will be 0 and b minus 1. Okay, so overall there are a cross b stones. So there are overall a cross b stones. Okay, so there are a cross b stones. Now James will be sitting at some points. Let's say James is sitting here, some jx, jy. Okay, now what is also given to you? So as such, James can jump to the next rock. So James can go to here, 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 here in 4 directions. Oh, I'm sorry, not this one, not diagonal. So it can go to 4 directions. Now the problem here is, so as such, it can go to 4 directions, but some of the rocks are unstable. So let's say unstable rocks are denoted by a dash, and stable rocks are denoted by a star. Okay, so now what may happen? So suppose, so then what happens? These two rocks are unstable. So that means James cannot go to this and this rock. It can only go to this rock, and let's say this is also stable. So it can only go to these two rocks. Okay, so that is the constraint by which James can move, and of course it cannot go beyond the grid. Okay, if it is sometimes comes here, it will not go beyond. Now what else is given to you? So you are told, fine, there is a fly. Now this is the main objective. So frog has to go get to the fly. So a fly is sitting on a rock which is at the coordinate fx, fy. Okay, and James has to reach the rock on which the fly is sitting by jumping on only the stable rocks. And let's assume that the rock where James is sitting and the fly is sitting, both are stable. Okay. So that means, so this is James and the fly is sitting here, fx, fy, and James has to reach from this location to this location. Okay. Now, see, in the worst case, it may happen that all the rocks are unstable apart from these two. So suppose all these rocks are unstable, then James can never reach the fly. But on the other hand, suppose all the rocks are stable, then James can easily reach this. Okay, James can easily reach the fly. There is always a path. But the problem here would be some rocks are stable, some rocks are not stable. So to find out, given this grid, so you will be given the size of the grid, you'll be given what rocks are stable, what rocks are not stable, you'll be given the coordinates of James and the fly. Given all that, can James reach the fly? Okay. Now, how exactly you will find that? So how exactly you will find, okay, there's a way James can reach fly. And for that, you can use the knowledge that you have gained in graph traversal. That is, I know that how do I traverse a graph to find out if there is a path between two nodes. Now, in this case, you don't have to explicitly construct a graph, but you have to use those ideas to tell whether there is a path from James to Fly. Now, what are the two strategies that you have studied? So there were two main strategies. One was a breadth first search. Okay. So what happens in breadth first search? So you have to first explore. So for example, you are here. You have to first explore the neighbors. Okay. So you have to first try the neighbors. So what do you mean by trying? So you see the neighbor. If the neighbor is already the coordinate of the fly, you are done. Otherwise, you have to go to the next neighbor, next neighbor, next neighbor. So in some order that you can use yourself. You can just define some order in which you will explore the four neighbors. So, but the caution here is some neighbors would represent the rocks that are unstable. So you should not go to those neighbors. Similarly, in boundary case, suppose James reaches here, you can never go up. Yes. So you have to avoid using those neighbors. So given that constraint, you have to use the neighbors. And how do you use the strategy of BFS? You have to use the concept of queues. So what happens in queues? So you have to, so for example, JX7. So you have to first enqueue that in the queue. Yes. And then you dequeue it. So when you dequeue it, at that time you check if the element that you're dequeuing, is it same as fxfy or not. If it is so, you are done. There is a path. But suppose it is not, so you will have to, what you have to do, you have to enqueue all the neighbors. So you have to enqueue, so suppose in this case there are four neighbors, but only two are stable, two are unstable. So you have to enqueue both the neighbors. So you will enqueue the neighbors. Okay, so this is neighbor in the queue, you enqueue these two neighbors. So now, see, that is why it is breadth first. You have to now first go and try the first neighbor, see if it is same as fxfy or not. If it is not, you have to enqueue its neighbors, yes. And there, you should not put back the James coordinate or this coordinate. So you have to put those neighbors that are unvisited. They are not already visited, and of course they should be stable. Okay, so you have to put those neighbors. So you have to first try first neighbor, then you try the second neighbor. So this becomes a breadth first search, and then you are trying their neighbors, and so on. So when do you stop? So at some point, either when you dequeue, you find that is same as fxfy, you have found a path, you stop, or your queue becomes empty. So if your queue is empty, then again that means there is no path. You could never enqueue fxfy, so there is no way to reach fxfy. Queue is empty, so that means no path. So only two possibilities will be. So accordingly, you have to tell if you could find a path or you could not find a path. You report failure or you report danger. Now, similarly, there is a strategy too, that is BFS strategy. So that is you go as far as possible by jumping on the stable rocks, but at some point you cannot go further, you backtrack. Okay, and you try another path. And how do you do that? You have to use the stacks. So how do you use the stacks? So yes, you have to use a stack and first push JX JY there. Okay. Now you pop the top element and you push. So firstly you see if it is same as fxfy. If it is not, you push its neighbors. Okay. So now the neighbors will come. So this is gone. Its neighbors will come. Okay. But now you will pop the top neighbor. If it is not same as fxfy, you will push its neighbors. Okay, that's why it is BFS. You are not going to these and these next. You will first go to the neighbor of the top neighbor. Okay, so that is why it is DFS. And whenever you do not find a neighbor, you go back. You keep on popping elements. Yes. And when do you stop? Either you find fxfy, so you found a path, or you have your stack is empty. That means you could never push fxfy, and this is your no path. So this is your second strategy by using stacks. Now, so yes, so this strategy uses stacks. It will go as far as possible and explore. Now, what we have to do in this part? So previously you had to only print whether there is a path or not. But in this case, once if you are able to reach fxsy, you have to fy, you have to also print this path by popping the nodes from the stack one by one. Okay, so you have to print the path from James to Fly. So you have to use the stack again for printing the path. Or you, if there is no path, you will just say there is no path. Okay, so this is all in terms of the main problem statement. Now let us go to the specifications. Now what will be given to you? So your input will consist of 4 different lines. So first line will contain of 3 integers, a, b and n, that will denote the size of the grid. So what is a, what is b, what is n? Okay, so number of unstable rocks. Because now there are n unstable rocks, you have to find out their coordinates. So second line will give you the n x coordinates of these unstable rocks. The third line will give you the n y coordinates of these unstable rocks. Okay, so now you have all the information about the grid. Now what is remaining? You need to know what are the coordinates of James and the Fly, and that is what you will see in the fourth line. So it will contain 2 pairs of integers, so jx, jy and fxf. And abn we have given an upper bound so that you can use static arrays. So ab are less than 200, n is also less than 200, although that is not too much required, but yeah, for storing these you may need. So this is given to you, and yeah, all these x, I, y, I, x, jx, and jy, fx, fy, they are within that. That is given. So let me just show you how an input looks like. So this is how input looks like. So you have say 4 cross 5 grid, okay, and you have 6 unstable. Yes, so this is your A, this is your B, this is your N. So now N is 6. So that means in the second line there will be 6 xi, x1 to x6. Third line there will be y1 to y6. And the fourth line there will be 4 integers. That is coordinate of James and coordinate of Fly. That is the input given to you. You have to pass that. And now what do you need to do? So in the part 1, you have to first implement the data structure so that you can represent the rocks and what is the initial state of the system. So for that you can use a 2D static array. You are given a, b and n bounds, and you will also get it from the user. So you can use a 2D static array to store the information about the rocks. And once you have the information, you also print it. So it's very important. So there are multiple parts. You try one by one, do part 1, print the output, verify that it is matching the sample output. Okay, so you have to print the grid. So input will be the grid information, and you have to print the grid as given the sample input output. So in this case, how do you have to print it? So you see this is 4 cross 5 grid. So 4 cross 5, and you are given the coordinates for the unstable rock. So this is 0, 0 is unstable. Similarly, 0, 4. So 0, 4. 0, 4 is unstable. Similarly, 1, 4 is unstable. So 1, 4 will be here. Then 2, 1 is unstable. So 2, 1. 2, 1 is unstable. Then 2, 2 is unstable. Then 3, 4. That is unstable. So these are unstable ones. Apart from these, all are stable ones. I think I have put an extra, so you just, yeah, this is not required, but yeah. So if you just print what are the unstable, what are the stable ones. So something like this is what you will print. Okay, that is your part 1. You take this input and print what is the print. And again, we are saying you don't have to construct a graph for solving this. You can just use this grid as it is. So part 2. Now you have to go to the strategies. That okay, search strategy. The first strategy is using queues, that is BFS. Now for queue, we are saying that you have to implement that using a fixed size array, which is provided as input while creating the array. So yeah, if you are using older C compiler, you can just hard code the queue size max. Okay. So So you would need to use two indices that denote the start and end of the queue. And you have to implement the following functions. So for queue, you have to actually implement the functions from the scratch. You should not use functions already available somewhere. You should implement them yourself. So, so first of all, because grid is a set of points, so you are defining points as x, y coordinates. So this is type def point. And the structure for a queue is you have an array of points, okay, and you have the queue size. And apart from that, you will have to keep track of what is the start and end of the queue. And you have to define these four functions. So you have to initialize the queue, you allocate the space. You have to find out if the queue is empty. That is important. That's where you know, okay, now my queue does not have any more elements, so I don't have the path. You have to enqueue and you have to dequeue the points. So for enqueue, you have to take the point as input. Dequeue, you have to get a point as well. And both cases you will pass a pointer. Okay. So yeah. So these are the functions you will have to implement. So in part 2 is only about implementing this queue. Okay. In part 3 now you will use BFS that uses this queue data structure. So here you have to use a function int strategy1. Okay. So int the return type is int. That means, so because this is a strategy for search, it will print 1 if there is a path, and if there is a path, it will print path exists and returns 1. If there is no path, it prints no path exists and returns 0. And the input are what are the state of rocks and what are the position of James and Fly. Okay, so that is your part 3. So sure, part 2, part 3 are together. Part 2 you will implement the queue data structure. In part 3 you will do the search and print if there is a path, no path. You don't have to print the path, only if there is a path or there is no. So like this. In this case, there is a path from James to, so in this case, there is a path from, so James is 0, 1, 0, 1, and Fly is 3, 3. So you can see there is a path, right? There is a path. So you have to just say there is a path. Path exists by stretching. Now you have to go to part 4. In part 4, you are implementing stack. Now, while you implemented queues using arrays, you have to implement stacks using a linked list. Okay, and the head of the linked list points to the top of the stack. Now, so in the linked list, so what are the data structure that you need? So you first have the same data structure for point. Okay, you may not want to repeat that; it's already there. And then you have to define what is your stack. So you have the pointer to the head, yes, that is of type point, and the next. Okay, so you have to have the top of the stack and the next. What's the top and what is the next? So this is what you are storing in the stack data structure. And as you keep on following next to go to the next step. And using that, you have to implement the following functions. You have to have, how do you initialize the stack? So that will initialize the head and the next pointer. Yes. And then you have to find out if it is empty or not. This is an int that returns 1 if the stack is empty, 0 otherwise. Similarly, you have to push a point in the stack and you have to pop a point from the stack. Okay. So yeah. So this is what you have to implement in this part. Now, once you have implemented the stack in part 4, part 5 is nothing but using strategy 2, that is DFS, by the help of stacks. So you have to use stacks to travel the grid in a DFS fashion. So analogously, but here it's a void function, strategy 2. You will get the state of rocks, position of Fly and James, and you have to print the path of points from James to Fly. Okay, so now you see you will have to go to the strategy 2 only if you could say in strategy 1 there is a path. So there was a path, now you will go to strategy 2 and you will print the paths. And you print path from James to Fly. So 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3 is a path, okay, as per this DFS traversal. So that is what you will. Now these are the 5 parts, and there's a main function that will bind them. So main function will first create and initialize the data structure that is required to store the input, what are the rocks and everything, the unstable rocks, so on. It will read the 4 lines of input and store them. And after reading the input, it will call the print grid function first, so that you will print the initial grid. And yeah, so you have to use one by one so that you can debug by the output. Now strategy 1 is called to see if there's a path from James to Fly, and if there's a path, you call strategy 2 to print the path, print the actual path, consisting only of stable logs. Now you cannot go outside of the grid of logs. So several sample input output are given to you. For example, in the same case, you printed the grid, then strategy 1 path exists, strategy 2, what was the path? And here we have given some explanation like why is this particular things are printed. So you can go and read that. Yes. So yeah, this is just an explanation. Similarly, you are given case 2 where there is a separate input. So here grid is 2 cross 5, yes, and 0, 0, 0, 5. 0, 0 is James position and 0, 5. Yeah, I think this should be 4. Yeah, 0, 4 should be 0, 4. Yeah, we will correct that. This should be 0, 4. So you are given the 2 coordinates and you have to print the path 0, 0 to 0, 4. There is a path. Now in this case there are 0, 0 and 1, 1, right? But you see there are both are uh, so in this case I'm sorry. So this is 0, 0 and 1, 1, but these are both unstable rocks. So you can never go from here to here. So in this way, you will find that there is no path between James to Fly. So okay, so this is your assignment, and uh, naming conventions remain the same. You have to submit a single CCPP file. Make sure you write your in this format your roll number underscore the group underscore assignment 3 CSCPP, and everything else remains the same. You are not allowed to use the HTLs and anything that is not specific to C. You can use your own defined classes, yes, and make sure you do not plagiarize from other friends or from the internet, okay? Because in that case you will be given a 0. And yeah, so I have told that already, but there are multiple parts. Do it one by one. Complete one strategy first, either BFS or DFS, then go to the next strategy. See that you are getting the correct output in there. Okay, fine. So yeah, now you can start.